All right, my amigos. Just wanted to quickly give you a little update. Nothing too significant, so don't panic, don't worry. I know this is an unscheduled kind of an update, but that's just how it is with me, right? I don't schedule anything. I wanted to talk about Bitcoin right now, as it is, and what's really going on, right? Or, well, not quite really going on, because I don't really have a clue what the hell is going on. But what I do understand is charts. I look at facts and I can see the fact. So one of the biggest facts that we have is how we dumped severely last week, in fact even this week technically, and we hit the lows of 18,400, I believe, and we quickly bounced back again, right? So we're having a nice little bounce. Market seems to be coming back again. You know, we've had a nice little pump of almost 3 grand, and that all looks very good, right? Market dipped below 1 trillion, the total market cap, and we're back again, right? Everything is looking good on the surface. If you look at the current candle and if you look at the previous 3 candles, what you'll notice is the dump was a lot more severe than people actually think, right? Because when we start looking at today or this week and this and that, yeah, you might see a little pump and you might see a little dump, and you just take that for granted sometimes, right? But no, I don't. So what we like to do is we want to see the bigger moves, and we're looking at this over a 4-week period. So last 4 weeks, so last 4 candles, and what we can see is we're still down. Yes, we're a little bit high, but this is a lower high, right? So it's nothing significant for us. In fact, unless we invalidate the top candle, the if you look at the left, the 4th candle on the left, unless we invalidate that, we're not bullish at all. We are actually still bearish, right? Because we've had this candle, great. Now we need a confirmation candle. So we need next week to be also bullish, to be confirming us that we want to start moving up. And of course, ultimate confirmation would be if we can break the neckline of that 4th candle to the left that I was mentioning. I'm driving, guys, so this is one of the reasons why I can't actually move the charts and show you what's going on. But that's what it is. So for me, I'm just going to stay calm, because this could easily be a dead cat bounce. It could be just whales trying to take out some funds out of the shrimps. I would be cautious, as I always am, and I'm just going to hold tight. My buy orders are still open, so let's see what happens. I did get some at the 19,900 and something level, because I did have another buy order set up there, and it's a number that I've been playing with. So every time it dips below that, I just pick it up. So, you know, I didn't have anything around the 18,300, but again, what's $1,000 to Bitcoin? Absolutely nothing, right? You know, a lot of people might say, oh, it went down, we're going to get the low. Oh, what if BTC goes to 17K? What if BTC goes to 16K? You know, what if it goes to 13K, right? Well, yeah, you get a few more Satoshis, but when you're talking about Bitcoin, you got to look at the bigger picture. When you look at something that's thousands of dollars worth, it's only a few Satoshis, right? It's, you know, for me, I'd rather buy as much as I can for whatever funds I have and not focus too much on the Satoshis, unless, you know, I'm only investing $100 or something. Then yeah, I want to squeeze in as many Satoshis as I want. But when you're looking at buying a large sum, you don't really consider, you know, you don't really worry too much about that. So this is what it is. I've met a few people today, met a few people yesterday, and it's the same thing I said to everybody. I said, guys, this is a buyer's market. This is when you buy, regardless what price it is. Just buy it and forget about it, because for the next 2 years, that's what we have to do, right? It could be sooner. It could be in the next 6 months that market, you know, tops out or does whatever it does, right? It could be, but that's all if, could, you know, what if, or all of that business, right? You know, those are probabilities, right? But one thing we know for certain is that in the year 2024, so I would say about a year and a half from now, we've got another halvening, right? So that's something we are certain about. We're like, okay, there is another Bitcoin halvening coming. When that halvening comes, we should see some price action during that time. Whether we're priced in or not, that's a different story, but there will be definitely another bull run coming in, right? And it's not just us in crypto, it's the entire financial markets, basically. So if you look at the stock markets, if you look at everything's crashed, and this is the opportunity to buy. So for example, I know some people have been asking me recently about stocks, you know, or other assets to buy. And obviously money's going to shit, excuse my language, but that's what's happening, right? So fiat money is going into the bin. GBP is dropping like hell. It's like it's dropped off a cliff. Is it going to recover? I don't think so. You know, when you look at euro and when you look at the US dollar, especially the Dixie, the index, you realize how everything is balancing out, right? Everything's almost coming and catching up, like whatever is relevant, right? It's catching up to USD. So if my pound is going to be the same as a USD, then is there any need for a pound? I don't think so. So this is one of the reasons why I've been on USD for a long time. I still am holding on to USD because when I see, you know, the market playing what it's doing, and especially like with this great reset business coming in, and of course, you know, the Queen just passed away, so now, what's his name? King Charles will take over, right? Or he's already proclaimed the king anyway. So King Charles III is our king now, and he's been adamant about it. He's been on the videos. He's done all sorts of other stuff regarding the Great Reset, because this is what he wants, right? This is what his agenda is, and some of the groups that he mingles with, that's their agenda. They want to have a great reset, and it's a great opportunity for them to have a reset, right? When people are not using cash anymore, what use do you have for cash? When there is no reason for having multiple currencies, well, you might as well have one currency. You know, what's the purpose of having multiple governments when you can have one government, right? So, you know, whether you want to call it a new world order or the one world order or whatever you want to call it, that's what's going to be happening very soon. So I'm embracing it, right? You know, I'm not one of those who's like, oh, it's coming, guys. You know, yeah, you know, get your doomsday things out. No, none of that business. Just embrace it. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? So I'm not really planning to hide under a rock. I'm like, you know what? It's come, it's here. There's nothing I could do. I'm just going to embrace it, and I'm going to move with the time. However, of course, I want to protect my assets. So coming back to the stocks and this and that, right now I'm going to be looking to offload as much cash as possible. Like, so what I'm talking about cash, I'm talking about your liquid assets, money that's sitting in your bank, you know, money that you're trying to earn some interest on. That's going to be rendered useless. I'd rather put it into stocks. And if I'm going to put it into stocks, I want to know which stocks to put it into, especially, you know, who do I think will survive, right? So when we start looking at this, we've got to look at some big companies, right? I'm talking like the top 100 out there, right? You know, I'm thinking about energy companies, people who are producing electrical stuff. Yeah, I want to be in them. People are doing solar power. I want to be in them. You know, probably even some pharma as well. Put it into that. I'm thinking about companies like Amazon. They're not going to go anywhere. So yeah, this is what I want to do to protect myself right now. And of course, when it comes to crypto, there's only the one king, to me at least, right? I don't know about anybody else, but I can tell you this, there is only one king, and that's BTC. And that's definitely something I'm going to be still holding on to. Of course, it could be the biggest gamble I ever do, but it's, you know, I believe it's going to be a worthwhile gamble. So I'm just going to hold on to this. And as I said, that we are going to have another bull run. We are going to have the market coming back again once everything settles, right? So this kind of chaos, this turmoil that we have right now in the financial industries, right? It's serious, but it's all there for something bigger, right? They call it the Great Reset. It's happening, regardless whether you want it or not. It's happening, right? The only way you survive this is if you plan for it. You know, if you're not going to plan for it, if you're just going to be sitting there and sobbing about it and crying about it, oh, it's coming and this and that and whatever, put your tinfoil hat on, it's not going to help you. Embrace it. That's what I'm going to say. Embrace it. It's coming, right? So that's what I'm working with anyway. And I've mentioned this to a few people as well. I said, look, if they take away cash, we're going to have some sort of a cash. There will be some sort of a replacement, you know, which we will call cash. And I believe BTC now has a great opportunity to become that cash. Of course, if not BTC, then Ethereum also has that cash as well. The opportunity to become cash. So that's what I'm going to see. I want to see something like, I mean, that's what I'm seeing actually. That you've got this big reset coming. Money's going to be digital, and it's going to compete with the cryptocurrency, because we can't really call it digital anymore. It's going to compete with cryptocurrencies, and cryptocurrency may become the new cash. And I think the winner is going to be the one with the lowest fees, right? Now, I know a lot of people have moaned about how Bitcoin doesn't have much fee, XYZ, whatever. And I can tell you this much, that's the great thing about Bitcoin, is that it doesn't have much fees. It doesn't actually require fees. A lot of people mine Ethereum to get more Ethereum, right? Because that's where the fees are collected, in Ethereum. So does Bitcoin, but very minimal. People mine Bitcoin to get the Bitcoin block reward, not the fees. And that's proof in the pudding. You can see millions and billions of dollars worth of BTC are traded each day, and yet the fees are only hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So when you see that, that is proof in the pudding that, look, we've got billions traded and only a fraction actually covered in fees. That's a very big, significant thing to see. Lightning Network changes everything, and I think there's great improvements coming, and Bitcoin will, still be the king, to me at least, right, for now, unless something changes. So, obviously you've got to move with the time. As I said, we embrace it. So I'm embracing what's here right now. I'm not too focused on what's coming later. And if it does come, if something changes later, I'll embrace that too, as long as it's not a bad thing, right? As long as it's not going to harm me financially, I will personally embrace that. So that's what I'm seeing. I hope this kind of makes sense, right? Because, yes, I started off with a chart and I'll finish off with a chart, but in between this, money is going to be rendered useless. This is one of the reasons why a few years back, I know some of you guys have been with me for a few years, you should know this, I mentioned how, I'm off the fiat system. I left the fiat system a very long time ago. Right now, any fiat or anything I'm thinking about or anything I'm seeing, all I'm doing is just pumping it back into crypto, because that's the only safe haven that I have. Of course, I don't hope for anybody to, or wish for anybody to follow, right? And this is not a financial advice. Obviously, you do you, I do me. I'm not a financial advisor. But I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and that's about it. And yeah, it's a funny one, right? I decided to get off fiat a very long time ago, a couple of years ago, and just stay into crypto, or especially stable coins, as much as possible. And of course, we've had all sorts of crazy stable coins out there, and when we're talking about stable coins, crazy yields and all of that, I've avoided those. I've mentioned it, strongly said it to everybody, I've recommended it. I said, guys, stay away. If it's too good to be true, it's usually going to fail, right? Or there's some other agenda behind it. However, anything that gave me a decent yield, for example, 1%, 2%, 2.5%, I mean, the one I'm currently on is 2.5% per year. And I'm okay with that. I'm not greedy. I don't need 5%, 10% that some of these were offering. In fact, I remember there was this one particular project that was offering like 500%. You're going to wonder, like, where are you getting this 500%? Where do you generate this, right? And of course, people fell for it. People just went in and the greed kicked in and they lost money. They lost money. A lot of people have lost a lot of money during the last bull run because of the extreme greed that they had, right? Those people who are not greedy, who knew when to enter, who knew when to exit. And you might say, well, how do you know when to enter and when to exit? Well, I'll tell you when you enter. You enter at the price you're willing to lose, and you exit at the price that you're willing to accept, right? So if you bought for $1 and you think, okay, this, I'm happy to pay $1 for this, well, that's your greatest entry that you could have. Like, if you enter into BTC today, or if you enter into BTC tomorrow at a higher price or a lower price, that's the price you're willing to pay. That's the money you're willing to lose, right? Whatever you've invested, $100, $1,000, $1 million, doesn't matter. That's what you're willing to invest. Now, when you start seeing some profits, 10%, 20%, 50%, 100%, and guess what? In crypto, we do 100%, right? So when you've seen that, when is it enough for you to take your initial investments out? Because once you take your initial investments out, whether you treat it as your profit or as your entire investment, right? You're out. You don't get burnt anymore. And these are the common mistakes a lot of people make. They just don't know when to exit. This is why I always say, guys, you got to, predetermine exactly what you're going to do. You say, I'm going to enter at this price, that's when you enter. And you can see, I've mentioned this over and over again in all my past videos. I have buy orders set up at specific levels, and I've shown them to you guys. You can see on the previous video as well, and the ones before as well. I've specifically mentioned that these are the price points I am entering, and my buy orders are set. Right, my buy orders are set, and I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not letting them go. That's where I want to buy, because that's my predetermined entry point. That's what I want to pay, and I believe is a fair price. Now, when will I exit? Well, I have my exit strategy. I have a plan. I say, okay, I want to see when the market starts trending up. When I start making 20%, 30%, 40%, even 100% on some of these, that's when I want to exit. At least I want to take my initial investments out. Now, when I'm talking about 100%, what kind of coins am I talking about? Am I talking about altcoins that give you 1000x gains? No, not entirely. Those are the highest risk coins. Those are for greedy people. I'm not greedy. So for me, I'm only going to be looking at the top dogs, right? I'm going to be looking at Ethereum. I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin. I'm going to be looking at Cardano. I'm going to even look at Matic this season as well, right? Avalanche, Solana, right? Those big guns out there. That's the ones I'm going to be looking into, because I believe they have great potential to do 100%. Right? They have absolutely good potential to do 100%. Even Eagle, can do 100%. That is my exit strategy. It's like I made 100%, now I exit. Now my initials back in my pocket, I go on a holiday, do whatever I want, and now whatever I make is 100% profit, right? So there's a difference. Like, you can make 100% profit and say, well, look, I made 100% profit. Great. Have you kept any of it? If you haven't, then what's the point you being in the market? Because all you're doing is basically just feeding the market but taking nothing out of it. Remember, if you feed the beast, make sure you know how to take from the beast as well, right? Because it's your beast, right? So that's what I'm saying. That's just my opinion anyway. That's just my thought. Of course, you do you, as I said. Now, coming back to the charts, guys, as I mentioned, like, for me, you can see on this chart there's a blue line. The blue line is the 21 moving average. It's on the weekly chart, and the 21 moving average is a very important number for me. Unless we go above that, I will not change my mind regarding if the market's gone bullish or anything like this. I'm still bearish as long as we are below the 21-week moving average. Okay, so it's a very simple thing. I don't need anything else. I don't need to know where my support is. I don't need to know where my resistance is, right? I would only worry about those two if I want to buy at the support and if I want to be selling at the resistance, right? Unless I'm doing day trading, it doesn't make any difference to me. For me right now, I'm a hodler. I want to buy as much as possible. This is my accumulation time. This is why, as long as I'm below the 21-week moving average, currently, you can see, I just want to stack as much as possible. So I'm going to leave you with this one, because obviously this is not one of those kind of crazy updates. Just wanted to update you guys that yes, we have a bullish candle. Absolutely, we were bearish and then we flipped bullish again. Sudden complete direction change, right? So we were going south and then all of a sudden we're going north. But actually, if you look at the fact on the chart, you can see all the candles from the current one all the way to the left. You can see the last three on the left as well, and they are only telling us that yes, we're up, but we are lower up. We're still not, we haven't invalidated the trend. The trend is still the king, right? So the trend is your friend until the end, and the trend right now is telling us that we're still way below our area that we need to go above. So yeah, other than that, I hope this video kind of helps. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. Smash those like button. Let me know in the comments what you think, or what your opinion is right now. How do you feel? Do you feel like you're bullish? If you are, then let me know. We'll talk about it. If you think you're bearish, then let me know. And what do you think the lowest prices could be? Am I right when I say we could possibly go to the 17k again? We could even probably dip below this, or am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. If you're already subscribed, then unsubscribe and subscribe again. Then get that algorithm kicking again. So, but other than that, guys, smash those like buttons, and I'm going to see you on another one very soon. I hope this was informative, and I hope it didn't drift off too much with all the investment crazy stuff that I'm going to be doing. But yeah, other than that, adios my amigos.